Hi guys. Well, we had we had a week of fear of inadequacies and a lot of control, not self issues, and maybe other stuff that each and every one of us has um, his own adventures, his own transits adventures. And now we entered a few hours ago the two of the cross of penetration gates. The sun is in the 57th gate, the gate of intuitive insight, and grounded by the gate of shock. I have this channel of initiation in my design, so I have shocks all the time. So one of the reasons that that I had a delay in my former video was because of a private little shock I got in my life. I get them all the time. So now we'll see what shocking week we all gonna get. So let's begin with the gate of intuitive insight. The 57th gate, the hexagram is called the gentle, the extraordinary power of clarity. Now, if you look at the hexagram that is built of two trigrams, both of them are wind. It's wind over wind. And this hexagram actually represents this gentle, very clear penetration of the wind that is still gentle. You don't really feel it, but then afterwards you get pneumonia. And it was funny because this morning I was doing my morning walk and I still wore a little short sleeves or very open shirt, and I felt this wind and I thought to myself, oh, the weather is changing, winter is coming, you should take care for yourself. You are an open spleen person, so tomorrow you wear a shirt. So this is this very penetrating and gentle wind, but very, very powerful. This gate, the 57th gate, very, very interesting gate. First of all, it's part of the integration field, so it has 3 harmonic gates. So many people will feel this global conditioning pattern because of the channel of judgment that is still that still conditions all of us. So also the 57 will be very strong. So all these people that have the 20th gate, the 10th gate, or the 34th gate, all of them connect to the 57 and get the whole configuration of this integration channel plus the judgment and the fighter. We will see how all this works. So this is very strong because most of our week will have the channel of judgment. So the 57th will be very, very strong in all of us. And this is about, of course, empowerment. It's an individual gate, self-empowerment, survival. It's part of the integration field. Mutation, of course, this is individual. And acoustic, let's talk about the right ear. We mentioned it when we talked about the left ear that sits in the 22nd gate. The right ear, the 57th gate, hears in the now. Now, this is survival hearing. This is all about survival. This is a gate that is part of the integration channels that they are all about surviving. It's, will I survive by keeping my form perfected? Yes, when it gets to the 10th gate, the perfected behavior of my form in order to survive. This is the art of survival. And will I be able to hear my sacral? Will I be connected to my energy and follow my response? This is the 57th, connected to the gate of might in the sacral. This is the channel of power. And of course, the brainwave, which is awareness in the now. This is an individual channel that the idea here, will I be here now? Am I now? Yes, I need to be now in order to survive. And this is very, very interesting, because this gate has one of the huge conditioned fears in us, the fear of tomorrow. It's a fear that is almost universal. And first of all, it's because this is the fear of the integration of channels. This is the fear, it's the most, let's say, the strongest of the surviving fears that we have, because it is part of the integration. And because many people have the 3 harmonic gates that look at the 57. I'm one of them. My personality sun sits on the 10th gate, and one of my biggest conditioned fears before human design was the fear of tomorrow. I had 2 huge fears. Both of them are not mine. The fear of tomorrow and the fear to die without a purpose. This is because I have the 38th gate twice activated in my design, and of course the 38 is activated, so the 28 in an open spleen is a very strong fear. And these 2 fears, which are not mine, were the strongest that I related to, that I identified to. I even remember one person asks me, it was exactly before I met human design. I remember somebody asked me, what is your biggest fear? And I said, I'm afraid of tomorrow, and I'm afraid to die without a purpose. So this is really, really, really funny, because diving into the experiment just eliminated these fears. I just don't fear them. It's unbelievable. I don't feel them, even though my life is as unsure as any other existential being life, because we all don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But the fear itself that is part of the design is good. When the integration being has this fear, or somebody else that has this defined in their chart, it's part of who they are. It is the foundation of their intelligence, because this is what the fears of the spleen do. But when it's a conditioned fear, as we see in most of humanity, this is actually a joke. And this joke is very, very not very funny to the not self world. I remember I was really afraid, and of course the not self mind, takes this fear, this conditioned fear, and makes a huge story out of it. Really, really interesting. Now, another thing about this fear of tomorrow is that we are talking about the quarter of duality, and we are asking, will you be here tomorrow? The fear about what's going to happen with the relationship. And of course, the answer is there is no tomorrow, because the gentle, this 57th gate, lives only in the now. The spleen, the awareness of the spleen is only working in the now. There is no tomorrow. There will be the now of tomorrow, but then it will be a now. So it's interesting to see how the mind distorts everything and empowers the conditioning and the mental interpretation of everything. Because actually, really, when we live in the now, and when we live correctly in our relationships, no matter what kind of relationship, if we entered into this relationship correctly, and if we are from this quarter of duality, just remember that only the people from the quarter of duality supposed to manifest or fulfill the role here through relationships. And I want to emphasize, it's not that the relationship is what matters, but how they perceive themselves and their evolution through the relationship. The relationship is the basic tool for them for their growth. It's not that the relationship is more important than who they are as individuals. It's very, very significant, this difference, yes? But let's say that all the other 3/4 people, this fear about where will you be tomorrow is totally not relevant for them. And oh my God, how that fear runs our lives. We meet somebody and we in the not self relationship, and we start planning and asking, will he be here tomorrow? Will he marry me? Are we going to have kids? And all this doesn't have to happen. It's not it's not something that is a part of every relationship, not at all. Most of them are not in this direction at all when we live ourselves. So this is really interesting. And of course, this gate is very, very acoustic, very acoustic. It's the most acoustic gate in the whole body graph. So people with this gate, when they live correctly and when the mind is not too noisy, then they can more and more feel the refinement in their gentle hearing. Another thing that is interesting that I've noticed with a few people that I know, I just thought about it because of this presentation, a few people that I know that have the integration channels or the channel of the brainwave, and their voice comes from this 57th to the 20th gate. They have a gentle voice, even though their design is very, very powerful, but their voice that comes out of the 57th is very gentle. Interesting to notice. And of course, another ego trip for us this week, the gate of shock. I love this gate. This is the two triagrams that make this hexagram. The arousing are thunder over thunder, two thunders together, and this is a real shock. This is an electric shock. Empowerment, mutation, initiation. So, of course, it's the ability to respond to disorder and shock through recognition and adaptation. People that carry this gate in the not self, this gate is basically about competitiveness, about the need to be first, about jumping into the void in order to prove themselves. This is the way this gate is represented in the not self. The problem is that most of the display of this gate is exactly as we talked about the 21st gate, which is also in the ego. The display of the ego gates, usually what we know about them is how they are displayed in the not self. And most of them appear in an open ego. So, of course, the whole conditioning of the open ego, which is very strong and we know it, appears through this activation. So this is an activation that could lead people to jump into the void in order to prove that they are courageous, that they have the possibility to adapt into new situations. And of course, it looks to the 21st gate. They are looking for the spirit, and in order to find the spirit, they will do dangerous things, even if it's not correct for them, of course. The true self of this gate is about really leaping into the void. It's about meeting the spirit, yes, meeting the universal love, meeting this priest or shaman that would initiate you into the higher self, yes, the connection between the heart, which is the material plane, and the G center, which is the higher self, and the direction, love, and identity. And of course, the 51st gate is the only way for the tribe to get into a spiritual individual direction, yes, because all the circuits are the two streams of the ego circuit get to the ego, and from there they have only two outlets: to the throat through the money line, stay on this material plane and tribal plane, or to leap into the void, into a shamanic journey, into discovering oneself. And of course, because I carry these two channels, the channels of of the community and the channel of initiation, and I have most of the mystical stream, so I can see how that's what I'm doing all my life. I'm just initiating those people who are ready from the tribe to get out of the tribe. Very interesting, and this is really what my design does. By the way, my channel is unconscious, and I always did that without knowing that I'm doing it. I only recognized it by its mechanics through human design. Very interesting. So this initiation is by shock, because most of us, and this is, I think that all of us, but I don't like to generalize totally, most of humanity, most of the individuals are not initiated, or are not really willing or ready to evolve or to mutate without a shock. And this gate, and especially when it's in the whole channel of initiation, this shock initiation does what other things can't do for us. And it's interesting because the 51st gate comes from the realm of the mind, so our mind needs to be shocked in order to, okay, let's see what you're talking about. Let's see if there's something that can really help me. It can't be an ordinary explanation. It can't be teaching. It can't be a pattern or looking at the future or at the past. It needs to be an electric shock, thunder over thunder to the mind, in order to break the patterns that are there and open for a new mutation to come. So yeah, I don't know how people will experience this gate this week. It's not involved in a global conditioning pattern as 57th, that is, will pump all the time, but people with the 25th gate and people that, for example, they have the 40th gate in an open ego and Neptune now defined, yes, conditions, their ego will feel it, people will feel it, and of course we all will feel it because it's in the air. It's in the air, so we will feel it too. So this is the arousing, and let's see which shocks this week will bring. We mentioned that the channel of judgment is still here. Mars and Jupiter form for us the channel of judgment, and of course we feel Pluto in the fighter and the 57. So we have all this global conditioning pattern for all of us. Yes, now the moon was in gate 10 when I was supposed to do this this video, but my private shocks moved me from the planned schedule. So now the moon is in the 58th gate with Mars, and the channel of judgment is very, very strong, of course. And between 8 and 9:50 GMT this morning, it will be in the whole channel will be in the third line. So beware, trial and error, detriment, zealot, electricity, strong. Tomorrow, what will happen is that the moon will get into the 54th gate, the gate of ambition, the Marian Maiden. And this is interesting because from now we're going to look how the moon will move through many gates of the root center. The moon is now in the quarter of civilization and, the quarter of mutation. And 7 out of the 9 gates of the root center are in the quarter of mutation. It's interesting, we need adrenaline from this mutation. So because of the global conditioning pattern of the channel of judgment, we will all feel this movement of the moon very, very strongly, not only these people that connect directly. So we will feel the power of ambition, this tribal ambition, in addition to all the configuration. And then from gate 54, it will get to the gate of, the moon will move to the gate of mystery in the head center. And we have the three pressures of the mind, of the head, the three pressures, the pressure to know the unknown, the pressure of doubt, and the pressure of confusion. And also Venus will enter the 43rd gate, the gate of breakthrough, and in the beginning all of them will be in the first line. The moon will change the lines, but it's interesting. We're going to have this inquiry, this investigation about what these pressures will be in this investigation mode of looking for strong foundations, doubts about this, confusion about this, and the insight, the looking for the individual insights, and of course the pressure to know the unknown. What else is happening on the 9th is that Mercury is going to enter this channel of judgment, is a real thing for us now, is going to enter the 18th gate, the first line detriment with Jupiter in the third line detriment. Interesting. And of course the whole configuration, very, very, very with this taste, yeah, the string of taste, with this taste of criticism in detriment. Oh my God. And we will have all these mental pressures to and these root pressures to correct. And then we will have a lot of intuitive intuitive understandings and knowing in the now about all this. And of course, we might jump into the void because we feel this splenic drive to do something. So I remind you, strategy and authority. It's really difficult sometimes for some of us. This configuration in the transits turns us into manifestors. For me, it really is. It can do this. I'm in compromise to the channel of judgment, and I connect. My personality sun connects to the 57th, but I don't feel this because I'm already grounded in my strategy and on authority. But I can see it everywhere, how this splenic manifestor gets and start doing things out of their intuition. So beware, guys. The moon continues from gate 61 to gate 60, limitation, acceptance in the root center, and again, another individual, mutative, strong pressure and deep melancholy in this pulse energy of nothing's happening. Oh, I have an intuitive insight. It happened. So again, the root will be very pressuring, and people that don't have a lot of individuality in the chart, these activations of the 51 and the 57 and the 60 and the 38 of Pluto, of course, all of them are individual, can bring melancholy. We see this also this Venus in the mind, and all of us connect this way or another to something of the transits. So the melancholy could be strong. So please don't put stories on it. It's just melancholy. Just turn on some sad, touching music, romantic sad, and it will take it to the next step, to the next leap into the next mutation. From gate 60, the moon goes to another pressure. This is the pressure of the human experiential way, the 41st gate, the gate of decrease, the gate of fantasy. So we will have intuitive insights about what's needed to be corrected and how we can push this into a new adventure. And then we leap into the void, into the void. And from gate 51, the moon enters the quarter of mutation in 19th gate. The pressure of the tribal stream of need, the stream of sensitivity. The gate is wanting approach, and it will be until the 11th of October at 7 GMT. And the last thing that we can see is that Mars will free our judgmental trip. It will move from gate 58 to gate 38 in the 11th of October in 12 GMT. So it will join Pluto in the gate of the fighter. So we will fight. So this is our week. We're going to feel the wind, sometimes gentle, sometimes not so gentle, and we will feel the shocks, the thunders that we don't know how shocking it will be, but when it comes, we better be prepared. We better be locked in our armor, in our strategy that really is the anchor. And when the winter is coming and there is strong wind and there are thunders and rain and snow, the only thing that can protect us is our strategy code. And when we are in this strategy code, we navigate ourselves through the decisions of our inner authority or decision-making process. We are not running after what the transits are telling us. The transits can really, really help and support our process when we don't give it the authority. And of course, after being in the rain, in the thunder, and in the wind, we come home to our own shelter and we sleep alone to protect our aura and to be prepared to a new day with the people that surround us, with the planets that surround us, a new day of being ourselves. Have a nice week. Have a nice, shocking, intuitive week. Bye-bye.